Alright, so I'm trying to platinum over 100 games in a list created by the community. Now, if I can't do this before the channel hits 850,000 subscribers, then I will shave my head bald and look like a base character from a video game. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Alright, so today I platinumed the brand new LEGO game that just came out called LEGO Horizon Adventures. Yes, it is based off of the Horizon games that PlayStation loves making more of despite nobody really asking them to. And if you guys have been watching for a while now, you'd remember that almost a year ago, I did a series on platinuming every LEGO game on the PS5, which left me with a shocking amount of trauma from playing those games every single day for months on end. Anyways, LEGO Horizon Adventures has a total of 24 trophies including the platinum, which is kind of lame. It also is very short to complete regardless of it costing $60. I have been robbed. In addition to all of that, there isn't many guides out right now to help with these trophies since the game just released, but that's okay because, I mean, it's very easy to do. It took me like 10 hours. The first stage to getting this platinum is to, as usual, just play the story, and it being a LEGO game, you don't have to worry about any missable trophies no matter what, which we love. The LEGO Horizon Adventure story, or adventure if you want to be historically accurate, is actually based directly off of the first game story. Although there is some differences, it's very similar, which is kind of weird, but seeing as the fact that TT Games was not included in the development, it makes sense. I'll say it right now blatantly for you all. Any LEGO game ever made without that studio is not a LEGO game, and that's the hard truth. Anyways, for a few minutes in this game's intro, a narrator was actually just explaining what was going on. He must think he's making an Its Ilusion video or something. That's insane. But this entire intro mission or tutorial mission was just teaching us the game's controls, combat, and stealth. I think that is also legitimately in every single other game, so I don't know why I always talk about this part, but it has to be done. After that though, we then saw a cutscene with the evil tribes stealing or kidnapping some of our people and taking them away to the gas chambers. But I got a trophy, so the war crimes must wait till later. We then began chapter 1, which is called Rescuing Nora, because that's our job, to go through levels and rescue Nora tribe people. What a goated story arc. Also, Mother's Heart, which is our village and safe place, is in ruin and we have to rebuild it the entire game. This truly might be the most generic story I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, it then began the first real mission of the game, which is also the final mission of the game. I say this because after this mission, we will then basically just be replaying it over and over in differing sceneries with near identical goals on every quote-unquote level. LEGO Horizon Adventures has a very weird way of level design, and it kind of looks like Minecraft Dungeons in a way, but it's not anywhere near as good or fun as that game is. The goal on every level for the majority of the game is to just rescue villagers or people at the end after wandering through it fighting enemies the whole time. Until ultimately there is a final area with, as you could guess, has some stronger enemies in it. But upon winning all of the fights, you complete the level and have to grab a gold brick to leave it. And after grabbing that first gold brick, I did get a trophy by the way from it. And the only real change on these levels in terms of direction is that you can occasionally select a different path and head after a tall neck robot or the normal path. And later on, you can pick between entering a cauldron and a normal path. But for now, the game forces us to go the tall neck route, and this is to investigate the rumors of a giant machine, as the game says. Now, if you can remember, or if you've even played the Horizon games, this is an iconic robot in them because they reveal the map in those games, which is very helpful. And in this one, I would say they do the same thing, but they don't because there is no map. In fact, the tall neck does absolutely nothing besides having a gold brick on its head one time, which I got right here and got given a trophy, which then ended the level. This game feels like reverse edging because nothing exciting ever happens. Oh my god! Alright, moving on to the next level of the game, we finally encountered the main villain of the story for the most part. It's just this dude named Hellas or something, but he just has lots of voices in his head, if you know what I'm saying, which is why he's evil and out to kill us all. And again, this level, like basically every other one, just had us walk through it, fight a little, then reach the end and save some captive villagers. Absolute cinema if you're a 3-year-old. And on the mission right after that, I want you to guess what we did. I'll wait. I'll fucking sit here all day and wait. Yup, we rescued more people again. However, this time we got a trophy for doing it because one of the people was so grateful for our efforts and heroicness that they decided to join our team and are now another playable character named Varl. So that's cool, at least we got something for our efforts finally. But then it was the final mission for the first area of the game, just being the forest area, and it did indeed have a little boss fight on it, which was awesome. Some life has finally been put into this game, thank the Lord. And as boss fights go in LEGO games, they're all easy but still cool regardless. So I did this one with ease, and then that was basically it for the chapter of the game, giving me this trophy in return for completing it. So I then began chapter 2 of the story, which finally had a different objective every level. Instead of saving villagers, we are finding places to set up signal towers around the game. And this is all to help us get 4G LTE wireless data, of course. We aren't quite at 5G yet, but that shit's a scam anyway. We all know this. And after doing that for the first time, I had enough studs to then go get my 10th upgrade in this game, which was a trophy. Back to the story, all of these missions, by the way, had that same goal of finding signal towers. Just in case you weren't aware, that's kind of how the game's chapters work. Each chapter has a certain goal for every level inside of them in specific areas of the game. And yeah, it's a very bad way to make a game, but it doesn't matter what I think. Sony's gonna milk Horizon regardless. And like usual in this chapter, after a few levels more of dry grandma boredom, I reached another playable character that once saved and recruited to the team, gave me a trophy and another character to play as. However, on the final mission of this chapter, we did get to go do our first cauldron of the game, which is kind of the only real fun part of this game in general. And this is just because cauldrons actually require a tiny bit of time and thought to solve some puzzles in them and get through it. However, that can come off as a bit annoying here and there, but it's still better than walking through the desolate woods for half an hour straight fighting a robot lizard that screams slurs at you and dies. And there was also a giant ass boss fight against a Thunderjaw in the ending room of the first cauldron, which again had some uniqueness to it. And I say that because you can't just go spamming attacks on the boss and instead have to grab these bombs off to the side of the screen and then throw them at the guy to do damage. Once enough damage was done, however, you then do get to kind of just spam attacks, but that's alright. Eventually, I did complete the fight and then I actually got 2 trophies from it. The first one was for finishing the mountain chapter and then for my first cauldron completion. It's now time, like usual, to move on to the next chapter, and this time it was in the rainforest. But instead of saving villagers and placing down high-speed Wi-Fi towers, we have to just clear out the rainforest of machines. Straight up genocide. Now that's hype as fuck. And this was also to help us try and collect parts to build a sawtooth of our own to use against the evil people because they have one also. But after the team masterly built our homemade sawtooth, it didn't work out exactly as expected. Anyways, we then got to confront the real evil of this game, that being the mysterious red flying orb, or the voices as I mentioned earlier. Aloy's schizophrenia goes so hard she'd be seeing the voices. That's a new level I've yet to acquire. But we also, as I mentioned, had to battle a sawtooth, and the fight wasn't too bad. I've always kind of thought the sawtooth was overrated as hell in these games. There's much harder enemies in the grand scheme of things. But after I won the fight, the voices came back and then left again. But I got a trophy since that's the jungle chapter finished. Alright, so now it's time for the final chapter. There is technically 5, but the 5th one is like one mission and it's just the final fight pretty much. But the 4th chapter is in the desert, and its objective is to draw out Hellas, who is that dude that was mentioned in the beginning part of the game. Basically, he's just the voice's little fleshlight, and you draw him out by destroying these drills they need at the end of every level. Very, very intuitive, I must say. But during one of the levels here, I made it to the gadget trader that is always in the middle of them, and I guess I got so many gadgets and weapons from this dude that I got 2 trophies from grabbing all of them in the game right here, which is definitely something. I also had to make my way through a cauldron again, and this is actually the 3rd time I've done one of these total. So after getting out of it and then finishing off the level with some fighting against Hellas, I got another trophy pop from finishing 3 cauldrons in the game. I then just got a trophy from acquiring 20 roofs or yards in the game from the free roam of Mother's Heart. But then I actually reached the final level of this desert chapter, and it had us just fight a boss called the Snap Maw, which was unironically easy to do. So I won. We then captured Hellas in a little cage, and I got a trophy from finishing that chapter of the game. But as I said, there was still one more chapter left, and it was just a singular final mission against the voices and their manifestation into the ancient goop monster. Also, it's arguably the only real challenge of a fight in the game. However, still very easy to do. And as usual, I won the fight and got the final story trophy of the game. There was then a cutscene wrapping up the story, and we pretty much just saw Aloy and the team save the day. For now, that is. So now it's time for the cleanup trophies, which are actually a bit grindy. The main goal, though, is to just get every playable character to max level, which requires, as you would expect, a lot of playing to do. And while grinding out characters, you in turn get a lot of studs to then go spend on things in the game. And I bought my 75th outfit right here for a trophy, and then almost right after my 75th decoration for another trophy. Quite a few hours later, I then finally maxed out a character, and it was on Aloy, as a matter of fact, who is the main character and only character I've ever played so far in the game. Another goal to go after while grinding out character XP is the community jobs, because you have to do 20 of them for a trophy, and they also give gold bricks, which are needed for a trophy in addition. Before finishing 20 jobs, though, I did just get 50 gold bricks, which is a trophy pop right here. And then after an hour more of playing, I got another trophy from doing 20 jobs total, which isn't too hard to do. I then just really strapped in to get XP from playing the endless modes of this game over and over again. And I'm not gonna lie, this shit was boring as hell. Shout out Spotify and energy drinks for keeping me entertained while I sat here for 4 hours replaying these same levels over and over. Eventually, though, I did get a trophy from finding 3 different tall necks on levels, which was kind of weird, but it's very easy to do. You just have to follow the tall neck path on 3 different areas total for the trophy. And that was the final trophy I needed to get before actually just having to play for XP solely and completely. So I did just that, and after 3 more hours of grinding XP, I ended up getting every character to max level 20. $120 for that final trophy pop with the platinum trophy pop added on top. So that was the LEGO Horizon Adventure Platinum Trophy experience. The game was honestly, in my opinion, a giant nothing burger, adding basically nothing cool to the Horizon universe, and I think everyone will be just fine with never having this exist in the first place or ever playing it to begin with. Once more I say, if you don't have TT Games make your LEGO game, you are going to get a half-assed product without the same feeling as other classic LEGO games, and that's something that the PlayStation and LEGO executives keep failing to see, which is kind of sad. But I'm sure the financial department will reflect that feeling of sadness when nobody buys this. Rating it out of 10, I'll give LEGO Horizon Adventures a 3. It's deserving of no more. This is such a weird game, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Shout out Gingers.